Great. So, who actually runs the show behind the closed doors of billion-dollar corporations? Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most misunderstood but absolutely crucial professions in the whole corporate world. We are talking about the company's secretary. We're going to set the record straight and uncover what this high-stakes job actually looks like. So, if you think you already know what a CS does, well, prepare to have your mind totally changed. If you've ever even thought about taking this career path, you've probably heard this classic, super frustrating taunt from well-meaning but uninformed relatives. Oh, are you just going to be someone's secretary? Are you going to fetch coffee and take notes all day? Right? It's basically a rite of passage for every CS student trying to explain their life choices at a family dinner. But honestly, the reality couldn't be further from the truth. Okay, let's dive into this and just completely shatter that myth right now. A company secretary is definitely not a personal assistant. They aren't typists and they aren't clerks. In reality, they are legally designated as Key Managerial Personnel, or KMP. What does that mean? It means they don't sit outside the boardroom answering phones. They are sitting right at the center of the big table, making major strategic decisions right alongside the CEO and the CFO. They are essentially the ultimate corporate advisors. So here's our game plan for today. 1, we'll look at the myth versus the reality of the CS. 2, the actual roles of a CS. 3, why companies absolutely need them. 4, the path to becoming one. And finally, number 5, we'll talk salary and career scope. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Myth versus Reality of a CS. To really grasp the prestige of this role, just take a look at this massive endorsement. Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself actually said, "The corporate culture of the country is decided by the company's secretary." I mean, wow. Think about that for a second. And that's because the entire foundation of this profession is built on transparency, honesty, and speaking the truth to power. If a company is operating with real integrity, you better believe it's because a CS is steering the ship. And it's literally baked into the law. Under the Companies Act of 2013, the CS is officially recognized as a core pillar of corporate management. They are part of the Key Managerial Personnel. The law basically says that any major company is driven by a very small elite group of decision-makers. And the company's secretary? They are strictly reserved one of those top seats. You cannot run a major corporation without them. Moving right along to Section 2, the roles of a CS. Let's break down what they actually do, because it really paints a picture of true authority. A CS is essentially the chief governance officer and the main advisor to the board of directors. They act as secretarial auditors to make sure absolutely every law is followed. But wait, it goes deeper than that. See, a company is an artificial person, right? It doesn't have a physical body to walk into a courtroom. So the CS legally represents the company at the National Company Law Tribunal. They're experts in corporate restructuring. We're talking handling massive Vodafone Idea-scale mergers. They even step in as insolvency professionals to literally save bankrupt companies from going totally under. And on a day-to-day basis, their authority is incredibly hands-on. They aren't just sitting around drafting paperwork. They are actively auditing legal compliances. They advise the board on how to operate safely and profitably within the bounds of the law. And here's the kicker. If a company needs to enter into a massive, critical contract, the company's secretary has the power to sign on behalf of the company. Their signature holds immense legally binding power in the corporate world. No joke. Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, why companies need a CS. Ultimately, it all boils down to the law. More specifically, the 10 crore rule. Any company out there with a paid-up share capital of 10 crore rupees or more is legally required to hire a full-time, dedicated company secretary. Hiring a CS is not some luxury for big businesses. It is a strict mandate. If your company hits that financial threshold, you simply must have one on payroll. And this brilliantly illustrates why they are worth their weight in gold. Corporate law is basically a minefield of tiny traps. For instance, company directors have to verify their KYC every single year using a simple OTP. Now, if a busy director forgets to submit that one single OTP, boom, the company is instantly slapped with a 5,000 rupee penalty. A CS acts like a radar, constantly monitoring the landscape to prevent these tiny, yet super costly legal disasters from ever happening in the first place. Okay, I want you to take a look at this number, 60,000. That is the approximate number of fully qualified company secretary professionals currently operating in India today. Now hold that thought, because here is where the contrast gets really wild. There are over 1.25 million registered companies in India. When you weigh 1.25 million companies against just 60,000 qualified professionals, well, do the math. You instantly see this massive talent shortage. What this means for you is that if you actually manage to clear the exams, your job security is practically ironclad. You are always going to be in high demand.
So, how do you get there? Let's look at Section 4, the path to becoming CS.
Honestly, it is a true hero's journey. Right after you pass your 12th grade, you tackle the CSET, which is the entrance exam. Pass that, and you face the incredibly demanding executive stage. Once you conquer that beast, you undergo 21 months of rigorous, hands-on practical training in a corporate firm. After that comes the final academic hurdle, the professional stage. And then, finally, you wrap it all up with a 30-day residential training called CLDP. Only after running that entire gauntlet do you officially earn the right to put those two letters, CS, in front of your name. So the crucial point here is how you actually survive these stages. The golden rule across the board is the 40-50 rule. You absolutely must score at least 40% in every single individual subject, and you have to maintain a 50% aggregate across all your subjects combined. The executive stage, it's widely considered the ultimate filter. We're talking single-digit passing percentages sometimes, mainly because it's heavily writing-based and just demands intense dedication. And even the professional stage, which actually features 2 open-book exams, is notoriously tricky because the questions are purely case study-based. You can't just memorize your way through it. But here is the incredible silver lining. While the course requires just immense, grueling, hard work, it doesn't require deep pockets. The entire registration fee that you pay to the institute across all the stages, from entrance all the way to professional, maxes out at roughly 30,000 rupees. That's it. It is one of the highest return on investment professional courses in the world, making it completely accessible to anyone who has the discipline to sit down and study. And finally, Section 5. Salary and career scope. What's the payoff? The starting compensation is highly rewarding. A standard fresher can usually expect an entry package of around 4 to 6 lakhs per annum, but if you perform exceptionally well, clear your exams smoothly, and land a role in a top-tier firm like the Big Four, places like Deloitte or KPMG, freshers are known to pull in highly lucrative starting packages ranging anywhere from 10 to 14 lakhs per annum right out of the gate. And trust me, it only scales up rapidly as you gain experience.
But here's the best part. You aren't just limited to standard employment. If working for a boss just isn't your style, a CS can always start their own independent firm as a practicing company secretary, or PCS. Because secretarial audits are legally compulsory for all listed companies, you're practically guaranteed a steady stream of corporate clients who desperately need your specific legal certifications and advisory services just to survive. So we've seen the prestige, the immense boardroom responsibilities, the absolute legal necessity, and the highly rewarding outcomes of this incredible profession. The corporate world is expanding at a crazy pace, and the demand for these guardians of governance has literally never been higher. The boardroom is officially waiting for its next key managerial person. The only question left is, are you ready to take the seat? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.